stood out to you as far as being the difference you guys both had?
Activity, energy, defensively. Shot making doesn't come every night. We kind of had that too from a lot of different people. Very underrated thing. The end of game 6, Christian made a couple threes late, and you lose that game. You say, those weren't big shots. But for him, they were. And you saw the rhythm was better. 8 for 15, 3 for 5 from 3. Just a complete team win. Aaron Gordon, 9 for 16, playing through contact in the paint. Russ, obviously the energy he brought. Peyton Watson, DeAndre Jordan. I mean, everybody brought something. And when you do that, you know that your 2 best players eventually are going to get going after a tough start. And they did. And Jamal shot making there to kind of keep the lead where it was at. Obviously, withstood any kind of run they're going to make. So really proud of the guys. Crazy series. Fun to win it.
Could you just elaborate on that? Because as close as this was, going the full game, 7 games, how rewarding, how good does it feel to come out with a 4th win?
I mean, it feels good, but I also know that we're flying to OKC tomorrow. This was not the championship, so I'm sure it kind of felt like it to fans, on both sides, because the series was so insane and the ups and downs were so crazy. It's one of those series you won't forget that you were a part of. But yeah, and I thought, we jumped it up a little bit, and you can say, oh, you jumped it up, and that's why it worked. Anytime you junk something up, the activity with junking it up is what works. And when we zoned, cross-matched, all those things, I thought our activity with our hands, the way we covered for each other, which we talked about before the game, was just incredible throughout the night, up until the last 6 minutes. So just an awesome win. I said this before the playoff series. The last 3 games we won in the regular season, to give ourselves a chance to be in this building for this kind of game is a huge deal. And we've won a lot of big games here, and we've had some heartache here. We've been through a lot here. There's a lot of experience in that room, so just very proud of the overall team effort.
David, what's about what Christian was able to do on the defensive end against Harden, holding him to 7 points on 8 shots?
Yeah, he did what he's been doing. I thought we did a better job of impacting him with another defender, but then getting that defender out. They did a great job, like they always do, of adjusting. And in game 6, we were putting 2 on the ball a lot, and they were rolling behind it, and Jones and Dunn were being aggressive, which they were not doing before that. And so they were getting paint points, they were creating offense. And so we tried to be a little more conservative once he crossed half court in coverage, but then it was on Christian to get through screens and get back in front of him, to maintain our defense. And then behind that, there's a man covering for a man, and we did a great job of that. And I thought there was a carryover from the 4th quarter of game 6 when we made that run. Much more aggressive to stunt at people, shrink behind the stunts, just help each other out down the line and kick people back to the responsibilities. That went a long way, like I said, also with just the overall just crazy activity that we had. Really fun to watch.
David, the series was obviously really close. I mean, so there was a lot, even 27 points. We weren't really sure that it was over, right?
Yeah.
But did you sense a belief with your team the whole time that they had this in them, that they would come out ahead? I mean, even after a game 6 where LA had obviously a great game there, and you had to rebound for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of humbled confidence in there. Like you have to go into these games with great respect for who's across the hall here, what those guys are capable of doing. But you also can't go into the game not thinking that, we can get this done. We've done this. Like, we've seen this. We've been through this before, and we've succeeded. You have to have crazy amount of confidence, but with respect to professionalism, what this is in a game 7 against a veteran team and a veteran coaching staff. I feel blessed to get out of this thing. Like I said, this is a memorable series. We just don't really have time right now to remember it. Enjoy tonight. Have a glass of red wine or whatever you like doing, but we fly to OKC tomorrow.
Coach, the non-Jokic minutes have been a topic of conversation surrounding this team for years now, and one of the biggest games for this core 4, what does it say about this group that everybody was able to elevate their game surrounding Nikola?
I thought it reminded me of the year we won it. I thought our rotation in the playoffs, not the regular season that year, held water the whole time and made impact plays defensively. Some of Jamal's shot making tonight through contact and AG, what he did attacking the basket, it allowed us to sit Nikola longer and then we actually, won those stanzas. And if you do that, and now you're bringing 15 back in, it's an enormous deal. And it also forced them to early rotate their guys. And now their guys are being pressed against minutes like we have throughout the series. So, yeah, there's so many factors to that. Saving timeouts if they have to call them and I don't. There's all these little things, these variables that really matter that add up to winning a game like this. So, really cool to see everybody step up. They got real minutes, and we're going to need that obviously going to the next round.
Coach, you've alluded to this multiple times today about the next round. What is it about Oklahoma City, just at first glance that makes them so good? And, what can you draw from that March miniseries that you guys had in OKC that you guys split with the Thunder there?
Yeah, that was interesting. It is kind of a setup for a playoff series. It did feel like that. We had to adjust from one day to the next. The second game was very different than the first. I'll say this about them. They're the best team in the NBA throughout this season. And I had a really good friend the other day make me feel awful. I said, if we win this series, man, we got to play a team that's 68-14. He said, no, man, they're 72-14. I said, okay, that's right. Appreciate that, bro. We know what this is. Like, their defense is so impactful. They turn you over. They have great one-on-one players in depth. Very good coaching staff that sets them up for, to be the aggressive team they are on both ends. But you got to be confident going into it. They know they've had the rest. We will be smart about it, do the best we can to keep guys off their feet. But right now, tonight, this is about the success of what this was. And this was not easy. And it took everything from everybody that played. And like I said, I don't want to overdo this, so I give them so much credit. I knew coming into this, it felt like 7. And it deserved to be 7. That's what this series was. That's what it turned out to be. So just feel very blessed to come out, the victor.
DA, Mike Malone used to get mad at me when I'd ask about leaving the starters in when the other team looked like they weren't. Did you think about pulling CB and Russ maybe a little, or even Jamal because of when they pulled their guys? And then did Joker go back in because of his back more than anything else because of how long he sat? Or
No, they came back in because they went on a run, and it's game 7, and I'm not putting them back in. And all of a sudden it's a 9-point game with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. He came in and made a jump shot. He put it back over 20. I have to agree with Coach on that. These games, they're very important, and you better win the game. So when you have a lead like that and it goes 8-0 or 10-2 just like that, and it was happening fast, we felt like we had to rebalance ourselves. And then once the clock ran to a certain point where there's only so many possessions, math takes over in your head instead of the craziness of coaching, and you get guys out.
Coach, did you have any indicators the guys were locked in before the game? Anything in particular specific?
Yes, they were locked in, as they should be. If you're not locked in for game 7, you shouldn't be doing this. The walkthrough, the film session, there was obviously there's always a buy-in in the playoffs, but there was some extra conversation to the details of each thing. Like I said, it's not just about what's happening on the ball, it's about all the details behind it. And I thought everybody was on a string tonight, connected on both ends of the floor. And offensively, just seeing the guys shoot the ball confidently when you're open. You got to do that if you're going to win these big games. And like I said, a bunch of guys stepped up. So, just really proud of the group.
Last one. David, you mentioned Joker and Jamal got off to a relatively slow start.
Yes.
But more than just shot making in this game, obviously went into this win. How'd you evaluate their commitment to the game plan, their effort in a game 7 outside of that shot making?
Yeah, I thought Nicola's defensive energy early he was everywhere. And his hands, he was playing, the cat and mouse, the Zubats rolling in the zone. He was all over the place, kind of an amoeba down there, taking the roller, trapping the corner. He had great activity with his feet, especially after playing just the other day. And then Jamal, I thought we did a better job of cleaning up, some of the pressure he dealt with. And you have to remember, Game 6 just happened, and both teams are pressing each other the whole game. There was a lot of tired people out there. And fortunately for us, I thought we had a little bit more juice than they did, and that probably went a long way in why we won the game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.